everybody, and welcome back to Connor here in full swing with your second piece of content for the day. We are back, as always, with Late Night Leeds. We're doing this 3 times a week now, and it is going to be Wednesday and always Friday, so stay tuned for all of those 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you will be provided with Late Night Leeds. Now, today we are going to be doing it on Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison on the Premier League, and in just his trajectory, his career, how he is, where he is right now, and I thought it'd be a really interesting one to do with Jack Harrison because that first season he was very controversial and I don't really think he hit those dizzy heights, but the second season, boy, has he improved. Now, Jack Harrison has had a bit of an unusual youth career in terms of progression. Now, he was born in Stoke-on-Trent, and I think you can tell that by the accent, how he talks. But yeah, he had a really interesting sort of span. Now, he started at Liverpool, but then had a move to the dark side. Manchester United came in for him, and Jack Harrison actually spent 7 years there, which there was a picture actually that went out online with him with the Man United top on. And I think, oh, God, that hurt, Jack. That hurts. But it must hurt City fans as well. But yeah, Jack was there for 7 years, made some great progression, but then decided to leave Manchester United with a big, a massive decision by Jack to go to Massachusetts in America and spend his time there. Now, Jack Harrison actually got a massive accolade when he was in America. When he was young, he got the Gatorade National Player of the Year that only 5 internationals have ever received in US college history. A massive accolade in the States. Now, this is all for me where it gets a little bit complicated. It was all about the draft picks when Harrison got into 2016. New York were after him, but he actually got drafted to Chicago Fire in exchange for a player called, I believe he was called Brandon Vincent, and plus allocation, plus a fee, and Jack Harrison then moved on to Chicago Fire, but was transferred to New York, which is where we saw the emergence of Harrison with Lampard and with David Villa. Now, Harrison's first year was a bit turbulent, but it was decent. It was okay. He got an injury for the first 3 months, and then with this progression, his debut was against New York Red Bulls. So he played for New York City. His debut was against New York Red Bulls, where he lost 7-0 being part of that outlet. But he was described as the silver lining for New York City that day. So a half-decent debut in terms of personal development for Harrison. He got second goal of the year. His goal of the year was rated second in the division that year. And for young player, he was actually second to an individual who played for Seattle Saunders. Now, obviously, in 2017, this is when the likes of Lampard and David Villa and Andrea Pirlo were coming into New York City. And obviously, Harrison had been there a little bit longer, but he established himself as a first-team player for New York, and he actually got the goal against New York Red Bulls, which actually won New York City the game at the arena for the first time in their history, so a massive day. He also got a brace against Columbus Crew as well, which was seen as a massive thing, obviously with Harrison being so young, breaking into that team, and he had a very good 2017, which caught the interest of Manchester City. Obviously, Andrea Pirlo and Frank Lampard all glowing about Jack Harrison playing. He was saying he was ready-made for Europe. He was ready-made for that next step. And this was sort of what caught the eye of Manchester City. And you could see Harrison with his capabilities, with his pace, with his pragmatism, his dynamism, he was always going to make it into the European game. Now, immediately after he signed for Manchester City, he was loaned out straight away to Middlesbrough. Now, this didn't go well. Now, Jack, when he came to Leeds, there was a lot of Middlesbrough fans laughing at Leeds for signing Jack Harrison, just purely because of his time at Middlesbrough, which was barren, wasn't run with good game time as well, with Tony Pulis in charge, not utilising Jack Harrison's capabilities, which I think was a massive mishap on behalf of Middlesbrough and Tony Pulis. They really could have utilised him. His rawness would have done well in that Borough team, and his pace as well. They didn't utilise it. More well for us, better for us in the later game. Now he's a Premier League player with Leeds United, but he didn't have a good spell there, and when Leeds signed him initially on loan, there was a lot of eyebrows raised. Now, Harrison was back in the States after his time at Middlesbrough with Manchester City. Now, with Manchester City, he was in a pre-season training camp, all this sort of stuff, and then Leeds came sniffing and managed to acquire his signature in the summer of 2018. A massive coup for Leeds United, even if we didn't realise it at the time. Now, Jack Harrison's sort of initial campaign with Leeds United for me wasn't amazing. I didn't massively think he did that well. He did okay. He seemed to run out of ideas a lot. He tripped over his own feet quite a bit, and his decision making was a little bit poor, and his physicality wasn't really there. He wasn't really there to cope with the demands of the championship over a potential 50-52 game span of a season, including cup competitions. So he really had to develop, and he did that in the summer after 2018 when he completely worked on himself, worked on his physicality, his pace, was doing a lot in the off-season, which made Jack Harrison an incredible player for Leeds United coming into the 1920 season. Now, as I alluded to, it wasn't the best sort of campaign in 2018. Ended with disappointment for Jack Harrison. Didn't get enough goals, didn't get enough assists, didn't really create enough chances in terms of the team development. And I think a lot of Leeds United fans were actually happy for Jack Harrison to move on. Leeds United to maybe move for a Ryan Kent or a Harry Wilson at the time. We didn't do that. We stuck to our guns with Jack Harrison, as Bielsa normally does. He always wants to improve a player, and boy, did Jack Harrison improve. Now, we did have a really good season for Leeds. In terms of reliability, we never could, for me, really rely on him for goals and assists. Could he get more? Of course he could. I do think he's got the ability to get a lot more for me. But yeah, it was one of those seasons this time where, he scored against Reading, scored against Blackburn, scored against Birmingham. He came second in the Player of the Month to Jared Bowen 1 month. So he has come on leaps and bounds, and he still is only 23 years old. And I think there is still a lot more to come. And this season for me proved it. He played against Arsenal in the FA Cup, and for me, he had a lot more time, he had a lot more space, and he felt a bit at home in the Premier League. And for me, he is one of the players in this team who I think will adapt to the Premier League absolutely seamlessly. Harrison obviously tasted promotion with Leeds United, which was brilliant. And listen, I think he's a brilliant player. I think, as I've said before, I think he'll adapt to the Premier League. I think he's got all the tendencies, the capabilities. He's part of this Marcelo Bielsa outfit now that knows how to play in this style. And I think Jack Harrison is going to do wonders in the Premier League. I'm using that Arsenal game as a benchmark, but I think it's just so applicable. I think you can apply that because just what he did in that game, I thought he was the best player on the pitch. And it was very exciting to see what he could do against the big boys. And I thought he did exceptionally well. And yeah, I think in the Premier League, there's a lot to come from Jack Harrison. And obviously, guys, in the August period 2020, he did sign for Leeds again with an option for a permanent signing next year. Really good business from Leeds. Obviously, I don't know if we're going to shell out that money this year or we can spend it on other talents, which we've already seen. But listen, Jack Harrison's going to reap the rewards. I think he's going to do really, really well for Leeds this season. And I'm really excited to see him. For me, he's been the most improved player alongside Stuart Dallas this year. And really excited to see him in the Premier League. So that's been it, guys. This is Jack Harrison and the Premier League. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please slap a like on the video. We are pumping content out now. This is my third video today. We've got another one which was recorded today, which is coming out on Saturday, which I know you'll all love and enjoy. As I say, please slap a like on the video. If you aren't subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on so you are notified whenever I upload. And just think about this, guys. It's all free. So, guys, have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in a bit.